guys, I'm about to show you how I apply to do a full highlight and in between toning out some of the brassiness, but the goal is to get her in the chair and out quick. So it's how to do a full highlight, low light. So this is our base. She is a pretty warm blonde. We're trying to beat the brassiness, but also get the lightness closer to the root and making that blonde pop a lot more. So our goal is to get it to look like a full highlight without doing the most work. So I always section the hair in 3 parts. Okay, so you can see I have one section on the side and the front, and then another section on the side on the other side. And then we have all of this in the back. This is what we're gonna work with first. So I have a bowl of lightener, and then I have an in-between toner to beat the brass. So you're gonna get whatever their desired shades are, you're gonna get that for the toner. So one thing that I always ask my client too is if they wear their hair up a lot. And if they do, I like to focus around the perimeter of the hair a lot, because then when they have their hair up, you see like a nice blend. Our first section we're gonna take, and it's gonna be diagonal. And we're gonna take a thick section. I'm gonna start from the ear to the back of the neck, diagonal. Now I'm working with this. What I'm gonna do is we're gonna still weave out a section, taking majority of the unwanted tones. Keep this section out. This is very blonde still, so we're gonna keep that. Take your foil, and in this section, since we still have a lot of the lightness underneath here, we're just gonna tone that the existing blonde already. The reason why we put it in a foil with the toner is so that way it doesn't hit any of the other colors, because she still wants to be a dimensional blonde. Our second section that we're gonna take is the same. It's gonna be a diagonal, but on the other side. So I'm starting at this diagonal point and going all the way towards her ear. So we're going to weave out a section and then pop in the toner. This technique is good for someone that wants dimension, has some brassiness in the hair already, or even if they don't, this is a good technique to add dimension anyway. So if you're starting with a solid like blonde base, and the photo she's showing you has a lot of depth in the hair, add low lights, and you could add low lights just like I'm adding them. Then for our third section, you're gonna go across. So you created a V point into the hair. You're gonna come in at those points and go across the head to make a flat section. It's very dimensional, so you want a lot of depth in the hair still, but also creating a lot of lightness. Everybody's head shape is different. So in this case, because it's a lot wider, you're actually gonna split it into 2. So that way the foils fit, and you'll handle one side on this side, the other one on this side. But what we're going to do is take this section, and we are actually going to use the lightener on this section. So the idea is to alternate. Toner, lightener, toner, lightener. Go right up to her root because she wants to get the lightness closest to the root. Grab your lightener, and I always start about an inch off the head, but you definitely want to make sure that all of these parts are saturated, because wherever you put that lightener is where it's gonna stay. Once your section is saturated, bring the foil up, and I always go back in with my comb, push that foil back into the hair into place so that way there's no bleeds or anything like that, and then fold it in. Now because we did that on this side, we're going to do the exact same thing to this side. We did our horizontal section, so we're gonna go back in with diagonals. So I'm going to start from this point and do the diagonal section down. From here we have a triangle section, so it goes this way and this way. What I'm going to do is kind of cut that in half, still being diagonal down. And like I said, we are doing alternating colors. So we're gonna do lightener, then toner. This section that we're not using, we're gonna clip it up. We still have this here. So we're gonna weave this brassiness. We're gonna weave it out. Grab the pieces we didn't touch yet and weave this section. This is gonna be our lightener. We're gonna go to the other side and do the same thing, that diagonal sectioning. So I start at my point, and this side I'm gonna go up just so I know how to create that V. You could see that V point. So now we're going to clip this side up and start working on this side. So because we have our V point, creating a triangle, we're gonna go right in the middle of this section. Clip up the hairs we're not gonna be working with right away. And go in with our low light section, just like we did on the other side. Excess hair, we can take it down. We're gonna weave that again, and this is going to be our lightness. Our horizontal sectioning. Our first section, what I did was I started from point to point. When we get closer to the top of the head, I don't start from point to point. So instead, I'm just gonna go just give it a few inches up from there and create your section. Here, we're gonna do the same thing. Cut this piece in half. Use this part for your toner and then your next part for your lightener. Next part would be lightener. So you're literally just alternating until we get to the top of the head. As you can see here, I'm continuing with my diagonal sectioning and preparing for my low light. Right after the low light, you continue with your highlight. And then do the same thing on the other side. Right after my diagonal sectionings, I'm going straight in with my horizontal sectioning. Now that we're at the top of the head, we are at the crown section. All we're gonna do is the same thing, alternating foils. However, we're just gonna go straight across the head all the way to the top of this section. I'm gonna go in about an inch section horizontally. Pull that down, pin up this section. I'm gonna go and cut that in half. Weave the bottom section into a low light and the top section into a highlight. And I am just going to continue to work with this section until we are at the top of the head. Now that we got the back established, we're gonna begin the front. She's looking for a money piece. So I like to have the money piece framing her face. So I start with this little piece in the front, and we're gonna take this little microscopic piece out. And because it's so light, I'm just gonna target the areas that are darkest. So we're gonna get right up into that section, going right to the root. And I'm talking, go use your lightener up till you can't anymore. But you don't want it to be directly on the root, because then when it grows out, it's gonna be a super harsh line. And then from there, I'm gonna fold my foil once, fold my foil twice so it's out of her eyes, and then lock it in place. And I'm going to go diagonal sections back, but when you start with the money piece, you want foils basically on top of each other. So I'm gonna go right in with another diagonal section, but super close to that first foil. You want it to be so you could see through that section. Put this piece back, and then we're going to weave this section. Almost like baby lights in the front. Keep these out. And then same thing, but we're gonna get close to the root, just a little bit less close than that first foil. But make sure you blend towards the root so that way there's not a harsh line. I'm gonna go in with a diagonal section down, super close to that last foil that I just did. You can see through that section, and we're gonna pin these pieces back. And then from there, I'm gonna take the section we just did, and I'm gonna weave it through. Then this section is gonna be, again, close to the root, not as close as that second foil or the first foil, but still closer to the root because it is still a money piece. When I do a money piece, I like to do the money piece on both sides before I do the rest of the hair. So right after this foil, we're gonna do the money piece on the other side. After you have your money piece established, you're gonna go in with the rest. So you're gonna do about inch sections, diagonal back, and it's going to be toner, lightener, toner, lightener. So our first section, I'm gonna do about a 1/2 inch down towards the ear. So you're working with this section right in the front. And I'm gonna actually pull it towards her face because it creates a nice like blend in the front. So you're just gonna weave and put in that toner. If you just let your client know what you're doing, it's not like hurting them or bothering them, right? Is it hurting you or bothering you?
No.
So you don't have to be scared to go into the face. They're gonna be okay. Instead of folding it twice, I'm just going to fold the foil in half like that, okay? You're gonna take another 1/2 inch section. So now you have this full section and this little section to be pinned back. And this one's gonna be another highlight. So you're gonna weave and get close to the scalp. Take another like 1/2 inch section. This is going to be our low light. Last section is going to be a highlight. So you're gonna bring it to the front and highlight it. Do it again on the other side. Now that all the foils are done, you're gonna let your client process, make sure you're watching it. After we remove all of the foils at the back sink, I always rinse with cool water, use purple and blue shampoo mixed, let that sit for a little bit while you mix the toner for the hair. And you can go in and just tone the lighter blonde. We already have the toner for the lower blonde and the low lights. This stuff we're gonna keep out for dimension. So you go in with the toner for the lightest blonde that you have, match the color that they want, and then you successfully did a highlight and low light service. See you next time, right? And this is our result. While it's straight, you got the beautiful money piece, dimension all around, the lightness of the blonde. This took 2 hours start to finish.